We're getting on. Now I'm gonna prep up this room for plastering. So that bare wall there, just gonna apply some render, nice and flat with that wall there. Same that infill there. That's where we shorten the front window for the porch. So just gonna infill that and these few chases. And that room, well, this room is gonna be pretty much ready for plastering then. And here it is, next day. Nice and solid, no cracks because I watered down or watered the wall first. Just gonna do a bit of cleaning up around the floor and this way here. Unfortunately my camera turned itself off halfway through applying render, but it's all nice and flat and flush with the bit down below. What I'm going to do now is just fit this angle bead ready for PVA and plaster. This angle bead is set. And take these nails off. Just knock off all this foam. And ready for PVA. Same as this. These chases. Prepping up for plastering. One of the things I have to do is this wall here. It has cracked vertically that way and horizontally across, as you can see. There have been various attempts of filling up. So we've got another crack there, and also on the other side, this was that long lounge wall. Now, some people would just put a bit of screen tape over it and plaster it. It may come back, might not. And what I did in the past with troublesome walls like this, I would apply PVA on a wall and then run bonding really thin across the wall and bed the external grade rendering mesh within the bonding, and then leave it to go off to dry. This is the kind of mesh I used before. I think it's 160 grams something. It's really thick mesh, so I'll just cut that in length pieces from skirting up to the ceiling and just bed it on into the bonding coat. Bonding coat will be runny and it will be really thin. It's not, you know, we're not talking half inch, 10 mil, quarter inch. I'm talking about 2 millimeters thick. It's as thick that you can actually leave the skirting on and will not interfere with the skirting even after it's been bonding on and then multi-finished. So to cover all these cracks, PVA bonding with mesh, thin coat bonding, and then once it dries out, another PVA, and then standard multi-finish 2 coats, what you do with the plastering. So I'll do that with this wall here and this wall here under the window, because that one has got some cracks as well. As you can see, there's a crack there, there's a crack there, there's a crack there, like loads of cracks underneath. So I'll do that wall as well. This wall here, this used to be in chimney that I rendered up other day. That seems to be fine. So I'll just PVA that. I'm not gonna bonding and mesh on it. That there seems to be fine, so it's only going to be that wall there underneath and this wall here. And then for rest, it's just going to need a scrim tape over the joints and it's ready. So one of the first things I'm doing is establishing how long pieces of mesh I'm going to need. So I rest tape on top of the skirting, measure up to the ceiling, so that's 94 inches. I will raise it inch or two above the skirting, so I'm not going to run it all the way down to the top, and that will then allow me to have a lap over the ceiling for inch or two. And then that joint will never crack as well. So I got 94 inches, and then check the width. The width is just under 3 meters, but I want to have inch or two overlap on this wall here on the left hand side. Sorry. That is a meter, and I'll need inch or two overlap in between the sheets. So I'll need 3.5 drops to do this wall here, and also 3.5 drops to do for next door. So I'll straight away cut 7, length 94 inches, and then rip 1.5. That will do me this wall in this room and in adjustment room as well. And here it is, all applied. We got about inch and a half return to the side wall, inch and a half, maybe a couple of inches to the ceiling. Same thing there, same thing there, and all the way underneath the window. And I just joined it up, lapped it over this between the old cracked plaster and this new render. All I'm gonna do now is just trim this mesh with a knife around the socket. Just gonna clean all that up. And yeah, that's all PVA'd. This room, well, Once that dries out tomorrow, I'll give it another coat of PVA now on top of that bonding, and that will be ready for skim. I mean, you can see it's flat. It's got that texture. You can see the mesh through it. It's really, really thin, but it really bonds the wall well and the mesh on it, and it does not crack. It's bulletproof, really. That there and that there was, say, all in all 4 drops of mesh and not even half bag of bonding. 3-meter wall, and then probably 3 meters by a couple of feet underneath the window. It's fairly cheap, much cheaper and easier than pulling the skirtings off and dubbing some plasterboard or whatever. Much easier. There you go. See you tomorrow. And this is following day. Unfortunately, my camera stopped recording in a moment before I start applying this. So good thing is I still got a couple more walls to do. So I will film that and try to edit it in. But anyway, this is how it looks next morning. It's nice and hard. It's all solid. It's flat. It's got that slight texture that came from the mesh itself. It's fully embedded. Yeah, and that's ready now to just put another coat of PVA. I'll do that in afternoon, and it's ready for plastering. Tomorrow gonna be plastering day. This wall here had a 1 coat of PVA, but I will put another one just because it's render, just to make sure that there is no suctioning on that wall, and also this section here. And yeah, I don't know why, but my camera sometimes it just decides to stop recording halfway through, and I'm carrying on and talking about it and doing things, and then when I finish all, clean up and look at the camera and recordings, and it's not there. It happens sometimes. And this is obviously a bit underneath the window. You can see it doesn't have to be, you know, fully in. It's, you know, as long as it's bedded in, you get a hint of that. That's basically that. Now all the cracks behind, it's 99.999% guaranteed they can't come through. I used this system on plaster lathes, like a timber lathe. I use it on the stud walls with metal lathe, expanding metal and lime render on it that all crackled up and everything, and whoever dealt with it in past, they'll know that it's quite difficult to remove all that lathe and without loads of dust and everything, and it's this is a very, very economical and quick solution for it, trust me. Right, I got another wall to do, so I'll film that one. That one is down here, it's all PVA'd ready. So that wall is this one here. Again, as you can see, they've quite big cracks all the way around. This is the party wall, so it's got 2 4-inch skins, one on each side with a little bit of some kind of cavity. That's what I could see from the roof line. Yeah, so blockwork for some reason cracked up. This is not just a render. This is actually, I believe, some cracks in the block as well. Well, hey, my friend Plasterer was here today, and he managed to do everything apart from the above and below the window, which is good. That's good. I like that. Nice and flat, not too shiny, not too polished, clean the sockets. He's a good lad. That's good. Nice. Okay, that was the wall with the chimney. We rendered up the day. It's all one now, all one. All good. Next week it's gonna give me another day, so I'll be able to finish that window wall and ceiling and maybe one wall in the bedroom next to it. So I'll have to get that ready for him as well. I opted for him to do a bit of plastering here. It's mainly just to get me a little bit ahead, because the whole bungalow needs plastering. And I don't really like to do that much, and I still got loads more to do. Need to insulate that, put a floor down. Same here, need to chip this down, insulate the walls, finish insulating the roof or ceiling, trim out around the windows and doors. You can see, need to put trims on, joining trims. Floor joists, floor, radiator pipes, need to get spark in here, maybe to put one socket on that side there, maybe, but definitely to put light, to get extra light there in this bay, so maybe like 2 spotlights or something in the bay, extra switch. Yeah, few more little bits and bobs to be done, and in the meantime he can do plastering. So this ceiling here, I can get him this ceiling prepped up, that wall there, and this wall on the right hand side, also this wall here and that there. So everything apart from that wall and the bay inside, bay window. So yeah, that will be good. Now, important little things. This is where our, right, this is our little bay window. This is where we extended it out for a couple of feet, and here was the window. Now, inside reveal, outside reveal, vertical DPC. Now, I started chipping here and I thought, oh, better show you that. See that bit there? With the plaster from inside reveal went over the DPC, and it's actually touching outside brick. Here it's actually bridging, and every time this brick got wet, there was wet patch on the inside here and all the way along. Had some mold there as well. I sprayed some bleach beforehand so it killed the mold, and that was the reason why I got wet, because you can see the vertical DPC is there, but the soft plaster, which is hygroscopic, it's pulling the moisture from the brick onto in the skin, onto reveal. So all that needs to be chipped off. Now, one would say, yeah, but this bit is now inside. Yes, exactly. It is inside, but it's still outside wall. Because only 4 inches or 5 inches behind this point here is that brick wall there. So what I'll have to do is clean this up, fill in all these gaps. I'll probably use expanding foam to fill it in. Make sure that there is no bridge between plaster and inside plaster and this brick. Clean all this silicone as well, and then I'll have to tank it. I'll first close this lower bit of cavity where we took the wall down. I insulated cavity as far as I could reach. I'm going to put cavity closer here from DPC, from below the floor level up. I'll nail that on, fill all these holes, and then tank it. I got some cement based tanking slurry. I'm going to use that on that edge there, and I got exactly the same thing on the kitchen side there, and we'll have to do that as well. This side here wasn't that bad, because the inside plaster did reach the vertical DPC, which is absolutely fine, but it did not, mainly did not touch the outside brick. It did a little bit here, just marginally, and a little bit here, again, just marginally. So that did not cause any of the issues, but I'll have to tank anything between this vertical DPC and this new vertical DPC here. So basically all of this will have to be tanked from horizontal DPC all the way up to the last brick. And same thing where we have this section here by the front door. That's outside wall. Good thing is above the window is not much exposed. It's only this little corner, and below it's that, and it's been rendered and it's been painted many coats, so it should not pull much through. So, but I will still tank everything from that corner all the way up here to this vertical DPC where the old front door used to be. Need to clean up all this loose stuff. As you can see, the old plaster had a nice gap there. It actually did not breach apart from this little section here. But if it breaches a couple little sections like that, genuinely it does not cause the issue. It's only when it has been breached massively, like in that back bedroom around the window. So that will all be tanked from this point here all the way up into there, into that corner, from below the floor and up. This is literally where the ceiling finishes, that's where the brick finishes. But I'm not massively worried about this wall because, as I said, it's got strong cement render, painted so many times, and it's very little exposed on outside. Very little, only got a couple of inches above the window. And this is a cavity closer. It's insulated closer, so I'll have to trim this insulation back there somewhere so it can fit over that cavity. And this side here with a lip goes against the inner edge of the outer skin, so it goes against there, then like that, and the rest of it goes over the inner skin and gets nailed on. So I'm just gonna trim it so it fits in there nice and neat. And here it is. Once the foam cues, I'm just gonna cut it flat, and then I can mix up some tanking slurry and apply on all these points around the house. Now, before I fully insulate this and complete, I need to fold these window trays. So all I'm doing is just that excess from the back, I'm folding upwards and then folding the corners like an envelope. Need to trim that excess here. Oops, camera. That excess there, and just gonna tighten up this corner here. And here it is. So it's folded like an envelope on one corner, same on other corner, just flat against the wall. That's gonna have insulation and plasterboard over, and it's nice and tight against the windowsill. So next thing will be insulation, plasterboard, window board up here, and job done. So I'm just going to repeat that now on that window and that window over there. tanking slurry and tanking. My sound for some, well, my sound for some people high tech, but it's quite a simple thing, and it's amazing thing as well. It's cement based. Well, I'll just read it out. Waterproof cement based tanking slurry, coating for brickwork, concrete and stone. Excellent adhesion to most building materials, brush application, resistant to positive and negative water pressure, up to 7 bar. That is a lot. That's a lot. That is 1 bar pressure is water height of 10 meters. So that is pressure of the 70 meters height of the water. That's a lot. Can be overpainted and plastered, and suitable for above and below ground level. It's brilliant. It's made in Britain. Bonded. So, coverage 20 kilo bag, sufficient for 12 square meters. Again, it's a quite big area. I have nothing near that. Says apply, dampen the surfaces. Make sure there's no standing or pooled water if it's about the floor. Then said apply first coat in thickness up to 2 millimeter in vertical direction, or say one way with a brush, and then work into any pinholes, crevices, or making sure it's all covered. Then just leave it for a couple of hours, 3 hours maybe, and says the slurry needs to be a continuous film for it to be effective, and it's very important for the floor and wall junction to be completely embedded. And then after a couple of hours or 3 hours, then do another coat but opposite direction of the brush. So go with one direction one way first coat, other way on second coat, and that's it. 5 liters of clean water is enough for 20 kilo bag, so I'm not gonna need not near as much as that. So I'll just mix up in a little bucket and just apply it with a brush. Open a couple more windows. Some draft. So consistency, it's really runny. Just like that. Maybe even slightly runnier than that. So now, just add more water in, and a little splash. Oops. for the brush and just wet the surface. So. Okay. Yeah. Oh. And just to note, this tanking slurry is not really patented technology, so many other manufacturers doing exactly the same thing. You don't have to go for bonded. This is just what I managed to get from our local suppliers. And yeah, now the first coat being done, you can see it's very thin, and it's just now obviously still wet, but just leave it a couple hours, should start hardening up a bit. And as far as I'm aware, it's very important to put second coat 2 or 3 hours after the first coat. Don't leave it days. You may do one in the evening, next one first thing in the morning or something like that, but don't leave it for days, because really need to have that chemical bond between first and second coat for it to work properly. You can see here on some sections of the brick it's not fully cured, but it's already drying out. You can see there. So it's not gonna take too long. I don't think it's even gonna take 3 hours, probably hour and a half, 2 hours, will be ready for second coat. In the meantime, whilst I'm waiting for that, I'm gonna cut some insulation for these walls here, 20mm, to overlay over existing, over this one that we did yesterday. And there you go. That's that. And this section. It's done. That's another jobbed. And in the meantime, I have been putting some 25mm, sorry, Celotex in between the joists, and you'll see there, that's the air gap that's going to be left. It's going to be sealed air gap. Just need to stuff this side, this section here, with quilt, and that there is our insulating air gap, and also the gap underneath is going to be insulating air gap. And this bedroom here, now it's all overlaid, so we got stuff in the ceiling, reveals below the windows, and I got these two sections. They're pre-cut, they've been wedged in earlier. I just took them off so I can do this edge here with tanking. So I'll let tanking dry out, and tomorrow I'm just going to pin them on, and that's all been insulated, all trimmed, all the gaps filled, ready for plasterboard.